The word of the day today is wow. I sit here today a little shocked. I just had a conversation, and it was the second one this week, about just some amazing feedback I got, and I couldn't believe I was hearing it. I talk too much about a taboo subject in reliability communities and at plants. At our plant, the taboo topic is looking at wrench time. Wrench time in their mind implies that the problem is with the craftsman. They're doing something wrong, they're lazy, whatever. It implies the solution has to do with people using their wrenches more, tearing apart equipment, where we should be problem solving, we should be using advanced diagnostics, whatever. It's okay to talk around wrench time and talk about doing better planning, but don't, that affects wrench time, but don't actually talk wrench time and don't actually go out and observe it. To me, this highlights a fundamental disease that's in manufacturing today, and I've talked about this before, not having a go and see culture. Wrench time is waste, folks. It's waste. It's only seen on the shop floor. Think about your maintenance staffs, the planners, the technicians you have, the maintenance engineers, supervisors, all the craft people. In my estimation of plants I've been in, 80 to 100% of that workforce is consumed in executing PMs, doing repairs, doing inspections, doing planning and scheduling. You compare that to, some good organizations that do some problem solving and, have some PDM technicians, but that's not the lion's share of your group. 80 to 100%. The poor groups, it's 100%. The better groups, there may be some out there 60, 70%, but you're ignoring a huge part of your group. If you're not looking at wrench time, you're refusing to look at it. You're refusing to measure it. We've all heard that the first rule to improvement is to be able to measure what you're doing. So why are you training on planning and scheduling if you don't want to measure the output of it? You're refusing to even recognize it. I'm stunned by this conversation I was having. You hope, your plan, I guess, is to hope that planning and scheduling turns into wrench time, but please don't look at it. Fingers crossed, it's going to turn into that. Better planning and scheduling turns into wrench time, but don't talk about it. This is insane, folks. You're fooling yourself, and the craftsmen know it. You're ignoring a problem that the craftsmen live with every day, and you're acting like it's not there. This is a man-made obstacle, keeping you from excellence in most cases, many cases. This is Joe Kuhn of Lean-Driven Reliability, bridging the gap between best practices that you should be doing and the reality that you walk into in your plant every Monday. Most organizations prefer to talk about best practices, systems, roles and responsibilities, KPIs, new technologies, smartphone apps, capital improvements, new toys. Hey, all great stuff, And think about, also in the LinkedIn community, the conferences that you go to, the trade magazines, what are the topics covered? And it's a lot of this really neat, cool, safe topics. Good stuff. I'm not saying these aren't great things. But the question is, how do you think ignoring wrench time, the efficiency that that a craftsman lives every day on their shop floor when they get a job, and you have systems and practices that drive their wrench time down to 10%, 15%, 20%, how do you think they respond to that? That you were ignoring it. They think you're crazy. They live the waste. They think you're a poor leader, and all you want to do is go to meetings and talk about shiny new objects. It makes them feel helpless and bitter. They get angry and crusty. I like to use the word crusty because that in you can envision a hard shell, but you can break through that shell, and I'll talk about that in a second. Then you're surprised when your new shiny object that you put out there, you spend $1 million on a smartphone app to give you KPIs that aren't accurate, and have everybody have it on the phone, and it doesn't make any improvement, and you're surprised by that. And you're wondering why you're mired in mediocrity. Come on, man. I'll take that from sports. Come on, man. I've never had a problem discussing waste with a craftsman. Tell them that you're looking at obstacles to them being successful. You're looking at the equipment they have, the tools they have to work with, the coordination with operations and other departments, the filth that they may have to work in. Maybe there's oil all over the place, parts, wrong parts, not full parts, searching for the right parts. Believe me, they're frustrated if it's wrench time at your plant. You have 1 minute of crust to break through, but to listen to them, listen to the feedback, get through that. Once they learn that you're there to help them, that you see the waste, believe me, they'll open it up. And I've got hundreds of examples doing this, hundreds. And never once did I have a problem, and never once did I imply that the problem was with the craftsman. It's an easy crust to break through. Remember, every single reliability tool is targeting waste. Chapter 1, paragraph 1, sentence 1 says measure the waste first. So you got to go and see it first. And you can't do that with your head in the sand. I've found in my personal travels, 32 locations I've worked at extensively, wrench time is often the catalyst that accelerates the journey. You can really make an impact on backlog if you can go from 15 to 25% wrench time. Massive, you have less failures because you're fixing the backlog. It can fund more planners. You get that kind of efficiency. You can maybe free up a person to be a planner or a kit or stager. It funds problem solvers. Take somebody that's got a knack for problem solving, take them out of doing scheduled work into doing a problem solving role. It can fund your entire PDM team. I've done this twice, where they funded the entire PDM team just in a matter of weeks. It reduces costs from contractors, overtime, handles attrition, and can help be part of your plan for funding technical resources in the future. By having improved wrench time, you don't need as many people. There's going to be a shortage here coming up. Everybody knows it. It self-funds future investment. If you go in, you have these wrench time improvements, and you save $250,000 through that. You can show that. You need to buy improve a lube room for $100,000. There you go. You have a position of credibility that you can ask for that money in. Ignoring wrench time can be one of the worst decisions you make. So your action for now, this is not next week, your action for now is go and see. Go and see reality. Go and see the waste on your shop floor. I'm not saying it's wrench time, but if it is wrench time, don't ignore it. Don't ignore the pink 10-ton elephant in the room that is your largest waste, and start looking at little waste to improve. It can be the biggest pivot point for your reliability program, is to go and see and address wrench time. Not the fault of the craftsman, it's the fault of your system. Know it, understand it, and then apply the best practices to what can improve the wrench time and efficiency at your plant. It can be a gold mine for you to unlock your reliability journey. Thank you. This is Joe out.